Let's look at our second guideline for selecting quality koi: scales. The most common type of scale found on koi are what are called standard scales. This kohaku is a nice example of standard scales. Standard scales should have a soft, uniform look to them. Now here's the same type of koi with Ginrin scales. Ginrin scales appear shiny and can have almost a sparkle to them. They can also appear very strong and obvious, or very faint and almost unnoticeable. They can also come in a number of variations. Here's a chagoi with Ginrin scales that have a somewhat scattered look to them. Here is an ochiba with Ginrin scales that appear in more defined rows, almost like rows of corn. Here is a variation of Ginrin scales which is referred to as pearl scales. Koi with pearl scales are very hard to find. This is the best example of pearl scales I have seen in 20 years. There are also scaleless koi. These koi were originally developed by crossing a German scaleless carp with a Japanese koi, resulting in a koi with no scales. Therefore, anytime you have a koi with no scales, it is referred to as a Deutsch koi after the German word Deutschland. These koi can become very striking in appearance because with no scales, the color separation can become very clear. Finally, there are koi available with what is called arigoki scales or dragon scales. This is where you have a scaleless koi with a layer of large scales typically traveling the length of the koi. Some of these patterns can become very dramatic. Now here's an example of just one type of koi, an ochiba, with a variety of scales. We have a standard scaled ochiba, a Ginrin scaled ochiba, and a scaleless ochiba.